We're so glad to be here this afternoon with you. My name is Leslie Montgomery, and you are tuned into LKM Kingdom Living, Leslie's Lessons Learned. And I'm just so happy to have my guest, Nikki Howard. Why you looking like that, Nikki? On with me today, and we're going to be conversating about human design. Yes, I said it, human design. Um, One of the things I found out by listening to Nikki is that is an intricate part of my life and where I'm going and what I'm doing now. It helps me to understand who I am and how I'm made up a whole lot better. So as we go forth this afternoon, we're just going to talk. We're going to be relaxed and we're just going to have a good time talking about it. But Nikki, I want to say welcome. If you could tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do, that would be great.
All right. So again, my name is Nikki. I so what do I so okay, so by trade career, I work, I'm paralegal.
Oh,
Um
okay.
yes, I work in the paralegal in the media industry. And um through I guess kind of like learning what my gifts were. I've done a lot of personal development. So personal development really became a passion of mine, and just really trying to learn like, okay, what are these gifts that I have that that I should be using. So I just started doing consulting and personal development, helping other
Wow.
people discover themselves and what their gifts are, and just really learning, going deeper into self-awareness, and just learning all the intricate things about ourselves so that we can um, grow. We are ever evolving.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Ex-
that's a true statement.
Mhm.
And the more you learn about yourself and the more you learn about your life, your purpose, where you're going, your destiny. Good evening. Good evening. Hi, Pastor Jackie. How you doing? Pastor Jackie is from oh, um, UK. So all those that coming on, wherever you're coming from, welcome. We're just happy you're here. And hey, Alfreda, and we just want you to know that we want you to learn something about yourself today. And that's what Nikki's here to talk to us about. So, Nikki, we're both a part of 1212 community. And on one aspect, we learn about our life cycle, our year cycle. And now on the other side, we're learning about our human design, which is what you teach us. And I wanted you to come on just to talk to us today about human design and how you got started in it.
So how I got started um, was, so I've always been into kind of like personality assessments. The first one that I ever took was at a church I was a part of a long time ago, and
Uh-huh.
it really just opened up this insight of why I was the way that I was and why I behave in a certain way. And to be honest, before that point, I really thought something was wrong with me because I did
Really?
not fit into a lot of spaces. And I'm talking about even in my family, and I always felt awkward and weird and all this stuff. And they taught me this thing about temperaments. So when I learned what my temperament was, and I read it, I was like, oh my goodness, like God made me this way. You know what I'm saying? I was like, He made me this way, and there's an intention and there's a purpose for it. Um, and there's nothing wrong with me. I've just been trying to fit myself in spaces
That you
that are
don't
not
belong.
that I don't belong. They're not for me, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah.
and so from that, my curiosity started leading to, so we did disc assessment. Um, and then I got familiar with one called Gallup Strengths, was called Strength Finder. And that one was like every time I learned a different one, it opened up a different level of understanding
Really.
of me. And then a coworker shared human design with me, and I read a little bit about it, and then I kind of like, it was really complex, so I didn't. really delve into. But over the years, I started reading a little bit more and a little bit more. And it's one of those systems that's like that. Like it's like you're not going to get it all in one sitting. Until I started studying it like professionally, I found an instructor that I trusted and really the way she taught um, helped me to grasp it. And then things started opening up for me. Then I started sharing it with other people,
Mm-hmm.
and the insight that it brought to other people and how it helped them to understand certain things about themselves was just like, I don't know, it's just very profound. And so I really love it. And it just puts connections to a lot of things of how we are wired as human beings.
Mm. And that's a very important part right there, how we are wired. Because a lot of us think we're crazy. And it's not that we're not, or it's not so much that some of us are crazy, but it's not so much that you're crazy. You just don't know who you are. I guess that's the best way of putting it.
And you're
So,
different in a very unique way,
yeah.
yeah. And so the perspective we have of the world sometimes is just so surface and cookie cutter. So when you look at something, you think everything looks the same, but you just feel so different and awkward.
Awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, TT, Tiffany, how you doing? Thank you for joining us. So, how does that work? How does the human design work?
So human design is kind of like it's a combination of what they call like ancient wisdom systems and techniques. Um, it has bases in the chakra system, and it goes by your date of birth as you would with like an astrology birth chart, your date and time of birth, and it gives you these like a snapshot of where the planets were born. And it put it in this intricate system that they call a body graph. And it kind of shows you how your energy centers are set up and how you may be affected by or influenced, what we call conditioned, by other people's energy. You may have more, like you may be more vulnerable to being imprinted by other people's values, beliefs, just the way thinking, and so you may feel an inconsistency of how you flow, right? And so then once you have the awareness of it, you can kind of gauge um, how you respond to things, how you react to things, knowing what's yours and what's not yours. So every level of it just has a certain amount of information um, that you can apply, to your life.
Okay. So, if someone comes to you, what's one of the first things you do?
I ask them the birth date information.
So, you want to do you want to pull up just a scale of what it looks like? Um,
Am I able to do that? I can share my screen.
see the little TV with the little arrow in it at the
Mm,
underneath.
oh yeah.
See if it'll let you in. Hey, Teresa.
Okay, so here's the thing. I have so many windows, tabs open in my computer.
You don't know what's what.
No, I see
Oh,
it. Well, if you don't mind, this is your actual chart.
oh, you found it?
Yeah, can you see it?
No. Let me
You don't see
see.
anything?
Mm-mm.
It says I shared it.
Yeah, it didn't come up on this
Oh,
side.
I think it's behind the screen. I think you have to.
Let me take the screen down then. It shouldn't be. It should be on top of the screen.
Yeah, I see it on the side.
Yes, it's not there.
Yeah, Tiffany said that they don't see it.
Mm-mm. Oh, it's over here.
Yeah, I see it on our side, on our screen. There you go.
So,
So
y'all, this is me.
right.
This is
So
what.
ignore all this writing on this side. Don't pay any of that any mind. So this is what a body graph actually looks like. So it takes the information and it creates a body graph. Um, all of these shapes are what they call centers. And so that's the part that's kind of like derived from the chakra system. Um, and so in it, it'll tell you if you have certain centers defined or undefined. And so what that means is where you see all of these um, white centers means that you have it open, right? It's not defined. So all of these open centers are areas where you can be influenced, or you're more of a receiver of either the energy around you or environments, or maybe just how the planets may be moving during the time. So, say for instance, this top center is an open head center, what they call the head center, which is the center for imagination and inspiration and ideas. And so, you may be a person who you're more affected by the inspiration of others. So you may be a person who reads a lot or takes in a lot of information, but everything doesn't stick. And so
Yeah, I
you're
know that's right.
so you maybe use more of
So, can you pray for me?
I can, listen, pray for us all because I have it open too. And to be honest, they have statistics on this, and the majority percentage of people actually have these centers open. And so where it is useful is you become more of a filter of what's valuable. So you may take in a lot and then you're going to process it and you're going to be like, this is worth this is worth exploring further. This is worth sharing. And so you amplify what you take in. So you may act just like someone who has it defined, who does have inspiration, but they get that more from themselves internally, and then we take it in and we amplify it. And so you're probably mostly only going to share the things that you find valuable, and then other people are going to trust you because it came from you, because you went through your process. So that's how that works.
Mm, okay, almost like a penny for your thoughts.
Yeah.
So, what's the next? So, I know that they say that the left and or the right side of your brain works better than the other side. Um,
Not better, but different.
Different,
Yes.
stronger, they say, than the other side or something.
Well, so one side is logical, and the other side is more. So one side is logical. It kind of bases more on data and facts and patterns. And then the other side, what they call more creative, is more sensory feeling. So if you think about it, you may have two people that needs to have details for something, and then another person who, like for me, I'm mostly on that right side and be like, I know because I have a feeling, but I don't know how I know, and I'm not even really interested in trying to get all the facts and the details for you. Like, so it kind of works like that. One of the key things with one of the first steps when someone learns in human design is you learn what kind of type you are. And so they, like, just with a temperament test where they have these categories of, personality types, understanding your human design type kind of helps you figure out how you best make decisions and how you flow. So um, you are considered what they call a generator type, which means this little box down here, which is your sacral center, is defined.
Which
And so
one?
you,
Down where?
in the middle, I don't know if you can see my
The
arrow. Or you can,
62, no, the 6223 or the 11325.
the one that has 51429 at the top and 34 is right below the triangle, the diamond, the diamond shaped one, straight down the middle.
Okay. Oh, way down. The brown.
Yeah,
Okay, the brown. I was
right.
looking in the white.
Right. So generator types are those who what they call have sacral energy. And so when you are trying to make a decision, it's best for you to check with your gut response as opposed to trying to overthink or try to make a decision with your mind.
Mm.
And so people with that center defined is like you're waiting for a response to something. So in the world, we're told a lot, right? Just do it. You're supposed to be an initiator, get it done. But sometimes, we're supposed to wait for things, right? And so you're waiting usually to see if your gut is giving you an internal yes or no, uh-huh or uh-uh. You really feel it. It's really not something you may try to think it through, but you'll probably get more confused by trying to come up with a logical or answer from your mind as opposed to trusting that instinct within you that I honestly feel that God gives us, you know, ways to communicate and ways to understand what's right and what's correct for us.
So I remember the last time. Oh, a builder generator. That's me.
Mhm. Yes, that's you.
Definition. I saw something about trusty, fighter, motivator. Is
It's
that what
just
it's?
so they give archetypes and names. Well, they give names to the archetypes. It's all full of archetypes, right? So they give names to it. So they gave you the role. It says trustee, fighter, motivator, and those are based on some of the channels that you have defined. So where you see all these lines that connect from one center to the other, each of these numbers have a different characteristic. And so where it connects all the way through to another center.
I hope it's the fruits of the spirit.
Well, most time they are. Um, One of the challenges that I had with human design at first was the astrological aspect of it. I wasn't sure. I was just like, I don't know. But the more that I studied it, the more that I realized that there's a lot of the same stories, a lot of the same characteristics, of the things that we read in the Bible. And it just it's really like just a story of humanity. You know what I'm saying? Like what's going on with us individually. It kind of helps you explain things that we're seeing or that we're experiencing, things that are happening in the world, and how to get from because for everything there's a light and there's a shadow part. You can be not totally operating in it at the best in the best way possible. So it kind of gives you, like, when we talk about doing the work, like doing the inner work, it's kind of like your curriculum. It's like, oh, I see that I'm more acting in the lower vibration of this, then what do I need to do, or what do I need to be aware of in myself, of how to get to the best version of that, if that makes any sense.
Mhm.
Listen, I don't want to.
Uh-uh. You ain't going. We ain't having no dead air. You know too much of this stuff.
Yeah, I don't want to
Go too deep.
go too deep because it's like I said,
Uh-huh.
it's very profound and it shares. So I'm gonna stop sharing for a minute.
Wait, so I
Oh,
wanted
sorry.
you to tell me what the three and the B was. That was that on there.
So those are things that I don't know off the top of my head. Those are things I would have to look into
Okay.
a little bit further, a little bit deeper.
Okay. Um, so I was going to ask you a question about it.
Mm-hmm.
It slipped my mind, so we just have to keep talking till it come back. But yeah. How important do you think it is for people to know their human design? How does that shape a person?
Well, I think it's I think it's very important because, like I said, there are things that would sometimes have going on in our lives, and we don't know like why. Like, why does this feel so strange, or why am I getting? First of all, why does it feel like the same things keep happening in my life over and over again? Right. So human design also teaches you about life cycles, and that's something that we really don't talk about a lot in, I guess I want to say, like in church. So understanding that at certain points of our life, certain things come up. So when you see people reaching their 30s and their 40s and their 50s, and we
Keep
having
going. Please.
and we be having these I don't know what they call, you just get to this point in life and you just feel like what is happening, what is going on. Sometimes it helps you to um make sense of that. So I'll tell you, for me personally, understanding my human design type, how it helped me was that, so you're a generator, I'm what they would call consider a manifesting generator. The description for that is someone who likes to keep busy, may find themselves doing more than one thing,
Mm.
right? Do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Now, I felt like something was wrong with that because, especially when you're out, in these internet streets or these coaching streets, and the people tell you you need to pick one thing. And I found it hard to pick one thing. And I felt all this pressure to pick a thing. And it kind of just like halted me. It more kind of like took the breath out of me because I'm like, I can't pick one thing. Well, then I read about, manifesting generator, and it says you need to be doing more than one thing because that's how you keep your energy going until the right thing that you need to be focused on shows up for you. So I was like, I can burn out easier with my mind trying to figure out the one thing to do as opposed to just doing multiple things and then learning how to not care about what it looks like to other people because it looks whimsical when you're doing more than one thing.
So I think what I'm hearing is that I think we stifle people a lot of times because we don't understand who they are and what they are. So that's why it's with us saying, like you said, um, they say pick one thing, but that's not your characteristic. That's not your personality. Your personality is to do what you do. So once you embrace that and understand that, it makes your life a whole lot easier because you know how you flow and how to walk and what you walking and where you're going. So I think that that's pretty interesting. Team Child said, how does it align with temperaments, life path or year cycle?
Um, so it's really just another layer. So if you think of if you think of your temperaments, right, and there's 4 categories in temperaments, then you'll probably see the similarities of you and another person that have the same temperament, but then there's something that's a little bit different about you. So it just kind of goes deeper so that you can understand the differences between you and someone else. So I think Cynthia from the 1212 community, Cynthia Flores, had mentioned the fact that we're both life path ones,
Mm.
which is the leadership, the innovation, but she has we're totally different. Like she's like likes to get things done, moves fast and
And you
everything.
laid back.
Now I'm laid back, super slow. And so understanding our human design helps us to distinguish the differences, why I'm the way I am, why she is the way that she is. Um, and yeah, so that's kind of like how that works.
Okay. So it's funny because you have your year path, your year cycle,
Year cycle,
year life
life.
path, and then you have
Mm-hmm.
human design.
You have your human design.
Is that's it? There's nothing else, is it, that goes along with that?
There probably could be there probably could be other things. I just know that I don't go looking for a whole lot,
You don't
when
tap
things
into that stuff.
yeah, when things cross my path. This is just something that crossed my path and it resonated with me and it made me want to look deeper into it. Um because it made sense. I was like, no, this makes a lot of sense. And it helps people. For instance, we talked about the open centers, right? And so that they have a center called the emotional center. And if you have your emotional center undefined, you have yours defined actually.
What does that mean?
That means that your emotions are you have what they call an emotional wave, right? But you could actually impact other people who may have that center open.
So
So people
does
who
that mean I'm an emotional person?
are you?
Yeah. I think I am.
Right. And so you would be a person, along with that gut response that you have to look for, you also have to wait out your emotional wave before you are clear on a decision. So people who have that need to be careful of trying to make decisions in the moment,
Right.
thinking that they have clarity or visions while they're in that emotional wave.
Yeah.
And
And
so
that's
people
real. That's real.
so people who have it open are what people would identify as being an emotional empath. So you feel like somebody who has it open could be in tune when something's going on with you, even though you don't know something's going on with you, or you're
Mhm.
not clear on what that is. And
Yeah.
then what happens is it's so funny. The other person who's being affected by your emotions look like they're emotional. They look like they're emotional. Again, everybody who has an open center amplifies what they're taking in. And so people who have this emotional center open have to become wise about other people's emotions,
Wow.
their emotions and other people's emotions. And so they get to a point where they understand that when they're feeling something, that it might not be have anything to do with them. You know what I'm saying? But if you're not aware of it, you could be absorbing it and taking it on as yours and thinking that this is. But now with the awareness, when you feel it, you get to ask yourself questions and be like, is this mine or is this somebody else's?
Mm.
And then they
And you're talking that's the other person that would, or that's what I would say,
um it would be the other
the
person.
other person.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
you, it's more about knowing when you're in your emotional wave and knowing how it works, and then learning to be patient to wait it out.
Now that's interesting that you say that because you you might have an emotion and think it's going to be for a moment, but it lasts longer than a moment, and you're like, what is going on? Why is this still here? That I know that's what I'm saying to myself. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
why I can't let this go? What is the problem?
Mm.
So that's a part of my makeup, you're saying?
Yeah, when we do,
No.
yeah, when we do the one-on-one, I'll probably have more details on how your wave actually flows.
Okay.
But yeah, and then, so that's another thing that I learned personally for me is because earlier in my earlier years, I used to be depressed like a lot,
Hmm. Hmm.
like a lot, and I didn't have language for what I understand it to be today as melancholy, you know. So they talk about melancholy, and now I know that that is something that I don't have to really judge it. I don't have to condemn it. So if I'm in a low period, it says that I can actually just sit with it because there's lessons in that time. Or um I used to be very creative when I was in my low moments.
You're not anymore, you saying?
I'm to be honest with you, I don't think I'm as creative, and I don't want that. Like, I don't want to go back to being sad in order to be creative. But it's so,
Right.
I don't know if you listen to, like, in the secular world, Mary J. Blige. When Mary J. Blige was sad and was going through the breakups and everything, everybody, we loved Mary. But then after she got started healing and making it, and everybody was like, we don't like healed Mary. Like, we don't like happy Mary.
Happy Mary makes different songs.
She makes different songs. I love Mary J. Blige, but
That's
it's
funny.
kind of like that. But sometimes being in those low moments is kind of where you know you learn your lessons, and so now I know. I just don't. I just know that sometimes I don't have to make myself try to be make force myself out of a moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, put this pressure on myself. You need to be happy. You need to be happy. It's like, no, I'm having a moment. And let me just be in this moment and then
Mhm.
just get what it is that I need out of this moment.
Teresa said you don't have to be sad to be creative.
You don't. You
Mhm.
don't.
Yeah. It's just that probably what was happening in those moments, you was still enough to be creative, you know.
Hmm. Hmm.
And that's probably what happened. That's how you was like, man, I used to be so creative then. Well, you had given yourself a moment to be creative.
Yeah, it's what happens when when you're in solitude and all that stuff. So,
Yeah,
mm.
yeah. Well, I said I wasn't gonna keep you long. I appreciate this. It's not long.
I hope it was helpful. I
It,
mean, it's very, like I said, it's very intricate. It's very personal, and it's very individualized. And that's what I love about it because we're all so different. You know, one of my the church I used to go to, I remember she said, that's why God gave me this fingerprint, this thumbprint, and this thumbprint only. Right? We are unique as that thumbprint, but we
right.
don't know what it means. You know? We don't know what it means. And so I feel like this human design really gives you a deeper exploration of what your unique identity is for yourself, because you know this stuff is in our it's in our DNA. You
That's what
know,
I'm saying. Our DNA. Yeah.
it's in our DNA, and we can um, we can work with that to get to the higher state. I mean, it goes deeper into what we have, the issues that we hold in our bodies, and how we can heal and kind of like clear that stuff out, and do the work that we need to do to heal our generation, the next generation, and all those kinds of things.
Mm, that's interesting because as I'm sitting here, you gotta throw that blood type in there.
Ooh, I've never done my blood type.
Yeah, you gotta throw that blood type in there because it plays such an intricate part in how you flow and operate as well.
Mhm.
So you have all these different connections. It's like there's a tree and you got all these connections that helps you understand why you do the things you do. Food is emotional. You eat certain foods that's not according to your blood type, you can become depressed. You can become sad. You just so many different things um, that happens to your body, and all these things play a part to it. You know, so it's interesting how now we're gonna have to put all these dots together. So like I know my year cycle is a 3, and my not my year cycle is a 5. My year cycle is a 3.
Your
What's
life
it?
path is a
Life pass is a 3. My year cycle is a 5. So I'm trying to figure out. So if how do you identify what the human design is? Am I making sense?
say it again.
Like like if somebody said, "What's your year path? Your year cycle?"
Mhm.
I know my cycle's a 5, and I know my path is a 3. If somebody said, "Well, how do you know what you are in the human design?"
Oh, so you would be a 5-1. Now, this five has nothing to do with the year cycle five or the life
Okay.
path five. So it gives you a type and a personality profile. Your personality profile is made of two numbers. Your two numbers is a 5 and a 1. So you would be a 5-1 emotional generator.
Because that emotion and that generator, that means my emotions is always running.
You have to put that emotional generator in there because that is your guidance to how you get to clarity. Have to consider your emotional wave.
Yeah, it's a whole lot.
It
It's a whole
is.
lot. Yeah. And how long you been doing this?
I started studying it probably in like 2012, but perfect. So my professional certifications in 2020.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Well,
Mhm.
thank you, Teresa, for popping in. Thank you so much, Nikki, for coming on. And yeah, well, I have a whole package I got to do with you, but thank you so much. Anybody have any questions before we go? And can I say, please like, share, and subscribe so that you know when Leslie's Lessons Learn is on. It is it is
It
it
is
is based on your
based,
birth date.
it is based on your birth date and um, where you were born, like what city you were born, and
Brooklyn.
and more specifically the time. So the closer you can get to the time, the more specific your
Yeah.
information can be.
It was 12 something a.m. So I
Oh
just,
yeah, that's what you gave me. Yeah,
oh, is it okay?
that's what you gave me.
Yeah. Wow. Well, thank you. Um, until we meet again, guys. Oh, Sunday will be on Leslie's Lessons Learn YouTube. And that'll be at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. This Sunday, we have Minister Wanda and Ashley. And we're going to have an interesting conversation because the conversation is going to be between a mother and a daughter. So it's going to be interesting. So Please join us. Thank you so much. Next week is on a Tuesday. I'll be back on a Tuesday at 3 with my cousin from Hawaii. He's a nutritionist, and he's going to be coming on talking about health. He's a 3-time Guinness Book of Records, and he likes to talk. So we will be on, and thank you everyone for joining us. And until we meet again, have an amazing week. Bye bye.